third take, and I really hope it goes well. It is currently February 6th, 2021, and this is introduction to a new series and playlist that I am making on my channel called Recovery to Wellness. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Raquel, I'm 27, I have a doggo. I am a recovery channel focused from recovering from mental health conditions, and I have my own lived experiences with mental health, including OCD, BPD, so obsessive compulsive disorder, borderline personality disorder, secondary depression, hair pulling, and skin picking. So yeah, I love lighthouses. I have a lighthouse calendar over there. I do a lot of art stuff. It's a new nightstand looking thing, you see that. I largely work on videos and stuff in my bedroom. I also love rainbows, and I'm a small gay bean, and I like glitter and like sequins and all those kinds of things, and color. And I got these cool sparkly scented gel pens and these like scented double-ended markers. Like I'm all about that. I love stationery, and I want to do something different on my channel that I've never done before, and I think I'm at a point right now in my life where I'm ready to take on this challenge. So this video is an introduction to a new series I'm starting on my channel, that of which I have no idea what the title will be called at the time of creating this video. I don't know if I already said it, but it is February 6th, 2021. I plan to start the meat of this series on the 8th of February 2021. Okay, this is going well. So, yes, where do I start? Okay, how about we start with who has inspired this video? Because I thought about doing something like this before, like a couple months ago, but I never really did it. And I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So, there are 4 people. 4? Yeah, I think it's 4 people. 3 people are healthy inspirations, and 1 person is an unhealthy inspiration. The unhealthy inspiration is a girl that I call Athena. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I've had and spoken about Athena in previous videos. I will not confirm or deny what her actual identity is in our timeline. I will just refer to her as Athena. Athena, I made a couple blog posts over the years. I made one back in maybe 2016. I made one definitely in 2020. And at that point in 2020, I was basically saying I'm just not gonna ingest any of her content again. And I did pretty well. I didn't check on it. I didn't check on her stuff, like her YouTube or her social media. I didn't look at it at all. Then slowly over time, I've started to kind of look at her stuff again. And even though I don't have any lived experiences with an eating disorder, I do find her content to be quite triggering. And even though I'm 27, and I found this in a video about her, where other people were talking about her, and some of these people were older than I am, or in their mid-20s, late 20s and stuff like that, like me, and they're like, yo, I find her triggering, even though I've never had this experience, I've never had this kind of disorder. This is hard for me to handle and consume, in a sense, ironically. So, if you don't know, Athena has a severe eating disorder, and I have found myself, when I do start looking at her stuff, usually it's I'm oh, if I have an hour, let's say I'm not watching a lot of YouTube or something, I'm just I'm in between, I'm in a crossroad where I can do something more productive and happier with my time, like reading a book or watching a movie or something that will actually be beneficial for me, or I can look at her content. And in the past maybe 3 or 4 months, I have been starting to look back at her content, which is unhealthy because she triggers me in a way that I want to look like her in some aspects, even though I know how bad and unhealthy and scary and deathly that is, you know? So, my point of making this a video is I want to give myself some form of accountability. I have always myself been underweight. I've always been naturally thin. And I want to sort of document my journey of weight gain in a healthier fashion. It won't be like healthy, but like healthier. Because I've always been thin, I, had a fast metabolism. I didn't really exercise a lot. I didn't have to, watch my weight or anything like that. Like, I purposefully, actually, as a teenager and stuff like that, I never weighed myself. I would only get weighed at, the doctors and notice it then. I never counted calories. I didn't exercise. I did that. So, even as an adult now, I don't check my weight. I don't count calories. And that's not what this video series is going to be. I'm not going to count calories. I'm not going to track weight. I'm not going to do any of that. I don't want any of that. So, what I want, though, I want to give myself accountability, because I recently went to the doctors. I got, a physical, even though it was for, a particular checkup, but I got a physical, wound up getting a physical, and I found out while I was there that I lost 5 pounds. And it wasn't intentional, and I definitely have been skipping meals and, not eating as much, and viewing food as an inconvenience. And I want that to be different. I don't want to have that type of relationship with food, and I don't want to fall into something that could be bigger than myself and have a lot of nasty side effects, in a sense. I want to be, I know what it was like to be really thin, unhealthy thin, not because of any behaviors I was doing, but just circumstance. And it wasn't this fun, glorious, wonderful thing that my brain likes to trick me into thinking, or that, from what Athena is doing, or from even other people who are being influenced by her, all these things, it's not that. So, I follow 3 other people who are going about eating disorders, particularly in a healthier, pro-recovery fashion. And those are the 3 people that have led me to kind of want to take this on. So, one person, I don't know their gender, but they are under the account I Can Do This, and they have struggled with, I don't want to even talk about what they've struggled with exactly, but if you go to their channel, I will link it in the description. If you want to check it out and it's not going to be triggering for you, you can do that. But I Can Do This has done videos before where they've sort of tracked a little bit of numbers. I will say that, a little bit of numbers for calorie-wise, and then also just the food and stuff that they ate in the day or whatever. So it was from them that I, again, 3 or 4 months ago, I was like, hey, maybe I can try to film what I ate in a day or whatever. But it was just an idea. Second person, Elzani, if you've ever heard of her, she dealt with severe anorexia for twice in her life, and she actually did an amazing documentation of her at a very ill point to getting to a better point. Again, massive trigger warning for that though, because it shows the nitty-gritty, it shows the emotions, it shows a lot of those things, the health complications, the thing, but she has a really good video about that. So, that is inspiration number 2. Third inspiration, again, the healthier pro-recovery inspirations, is Jessie Page. Jessie Page. I don't know why I pronounced that weird. But she is someone who also has dealt with eating disorders, and she has kind of documented her progress in her recovery from them, and she does music and stuff now. I honestly just started following her 2 years ago, not that long ago, and I like her music a lot, and I think she's a really good role model and inspiration in terms of, you know, an ed recovery story, and I would definitely recommend watching her stuff. And again, though, some things can be trigger warnings, but they say it's a trigger warning. Let me take a break 1 second. So, these are the people that are inspiring me. I'm at a point, again, I went to the doctors. I unfortunately lost 5 pounds, not intentionally, but I have been skipping meals and things, and I think that if I document where I'm going and where I'm at, that I can give myself some accountability. For right now, for the time that I've been making videos, right? So, I have had this channel, since end of December 2016. However, 2016 and 2017 were years that I was struggling a lot with my mental health. Then 2018, I struggled some more, but I started making a little more content. 2019, I don't even remember what happened. 2020, I hit a boom. I started doing a lot. 7 weeks, I filmed, edited, uploaded videos straight, something each week. And since then, I've been the pandemic happened and everything, so I got really creative, and so here we are now. And I've filmed a lot of videos over a short span of time. I just have to edit them. My point of mentioning that, I forget. Why did I mention that? Shit. Where was I going with that? Give me a minute, hold on. New thought plan. I've always been naturally thin. I had a hard time gaining weight. Definitely a hard time maintaining weight. Although, I think as a teen I was fine and stuff like that. To put into context, 2018 is when I gained weight from an increase in the antipsychotic that I take for the OCD. And for the first time in my life, when I was 25, I weighed in the triple digits. So I was always underweight. I was always, and even when I was underweight, by the way, too, it wasn't this wonderful, glamorous thing. It was really shitty. I was emotionally unstable, all of the time. I was just suicidal a lot. When I got depression, I went into the lack of appetite kind of stage. I remember thinking of food as why bother, because why eat today if I'm just gonna hurt and end my life tomorrow? That was my thought process. And there was one time too where I remember distinctly not eating for 6 hours at a time, and I was ooh, I feel I was proud of myself. It was something to be proud of, which is really fucked up. So I was like that. But as I went on, I would still eat, and I would have the psychiatrists and the doctors and stuff on my treatment would be yo, you need to drink, ensure not to be used as a meal itself, but in conjunction with other meals, 3 meals a day, 3 snacks, ensure all of that. But it wasn't until 2018 where I actually started gaining weight from the antipsychotic. And I came on here a couple times, I think January, February 2018, but I didn't really, start making a video again until March or April. And that was when the weight gain had happened. And it's harder for me to look back on old videos or old photos because, again, this is also a misconception kind of thing that you can tell by looking at someone if they have an eating disorder or a mental health condition or anything to that effect. So I just didn't look healthy, I guess. I remember there was one time, there's 3 instances. One time when I was in middle school, and this has always left me in an uncomfortable, awkward situation because I was in summer camp or something, and I remember a girl a couple years younger than I was. She was oh, you're so pretty, and you're so thin, and I want to look like that, and all of that. I didn't know how to react. And I definitely didn't know anything about eating disorders or anything to that effect at that age. So I was I don't know what to say. And I always think back and I kind of regret it in a sense. I wish I could have said something helpful in that situation. When I was in the hospital, in the psych hospital, and someone made a similar kind of remarks, and they were like, oh, like, I used to be as thin as you, I wish I was as thin as you, like, oh, it's so awesome and stuff, like, you're so pretty, like, well, maybe not you're so pretty, but, like, I really want to look like you, and that kind of thing. What do you say to that? The third time I was in the hospital, I believe it was actually, I think I know exactly which hospitalization it was, but I was in the hospital, and I remember seeing a woman who was about as thin as I was looking at her, at least, and I was in the scenario where I was like, you look like you have an eating disorder, which again is not like, you can't tell by looking at someone realistically, and like, it's a misconception, it's all that kind of stuff, but I'm suspicious, you know? And she looked at me and was thinking, you look like you have an eating disorder. And she, like, actually, like, made a comment about it, and I was like, oh, no, I don't, I'm just naturally this thin, and she was like, nah, like, you got one. And I was like, I don't know. But, yeah. So I've always been thin, and not healthy, like thin, just couldn't gain weight, kind of thin. But I gained weight in 2018, and it's difficult for me to look back on photos or videos from when I was back then. I make it a point not to, and I've never tracked, like I never have in my life, like, used scales to check my weight or count calories or anything like that, and that is not what I intend to do with this series either. So I've talked about a little bit of my history. I've talked about how, I also want to say too, like, I hope that this series kind of, people who have had eating disorders, or even people who are just thin and struggle with gaining weight, like, I hope that this can be some sort of chronicle story, in a sense, who can take just encouragement and maybe hope and inspiration out of, in a sense. Like I know I'm not, like, okay, I don't, my goal isn't to be, I mean, I guess my goal is healthiness, but, like, healthier. Not healthy, but healthier. And, like, I'll take suggestions for, like, recipes, or, like, maybe particular, like, foods, or, like, you know, things like that in the comments below if you want to share that kind of stuff. Put it in the comments. I am nervous. I'm nervous about, so I want to do it in, like, a 2-week formation, in a sense. So I'm going to do the first 2 weeks. I want to, my idea is this, right? I haven't filmed any of this yet, because I'm going to start on the 8th. But I want to film just, like, little clips during the day of, like, here's what I'm eating. Like, I'll hold, like, a pack of, like, Oreos or something, and be like, eat these. And then, you know, just film that, and then have that be, like, the entry, in a sense, and then film, like, the snack, or the next meal, or whatever. And then, in the beginning and end of the day, I want to kind of share where I'm at mood-wise, and where my thoughts are, like, what my thought processes are like looking like, and things to that effect. I don't know exactly how I'm going to put out the content. Like, I think I'll just probably do that one day, edit it together, and upload it the next day, and just do it like that. I will say 2 days of the week when I'm at work at Amaryllis, I will not have entries, so I will just put notes onto my iPod about what I ate and just keep track of it like that. The first 2 weeks, though, I am nervous because right now, I have that relationship with food where I'm like, this is inconvenient, and it's annoying that I have to constantly keep eating to survive, and it's just, that's just where I'm at. So I'm nervous because it's like, I don't eat as much as I should be eating, and I'm aware of that, and like, I'm nervous to share some things. Like, sometimes, honestly, sometimes for breakfast I eat cake. Like, that's not, what are you doing? What are you doing? So, is this gonna be awkward and challenging for me? So there's that. then at the same time too, I feel like, because even right now in the whole video processing stuff, I am self-conscious in the sense that, like, if I don't look well, like if I don't have my hair recently washed or like I brush my teeth or whatever, like I don't film. So I feel like it's definitely going to be an accountability factor. Like, I think if I know, hey, I have to film like a little snippet of like what I'm eating at that time or like whatever, or I think a couple times I think I'm going to do a couple of clips where I'm actually time-lapse eating it. But I think because if I have to know, okay, I have to film when I'm eating, is going to remind me and reinforce the fact that I have to eat something so that I can film that I ate it. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then I think too, overall, I think it will be hopefully something helpful. And again, though, I'm not like a dietitian or a nutritionist or anything to that effect, and I don't have any lived experiences with disordered eating, or at least with eating disorders. And it's not something I'm claiming to be in or anything to that effect. It's just trying to repair my relationship with food and actually try to incorporate some sort of exercise into my life, because I definitely need that, and I don't do it. So it would be nice to have a bit of a change. And yeah, and I don't know if this video was any good, to be honest. I feel like I was offensive in some aspects, and I apologize for that. And I think ultimately, like, you can't, like, in a lot of ways you can't tell if somebody is struggling with something by looking at them, because there's like masks and people, you know, can pretend that they're okay and stuff like that, and it's just far more complicated than what the physical looks like, in a sense, you know what I mean? And I think, I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, and like, I just want to take you on this journey. Like, I just want, if anybody is out there and is struggling with something and they want to see what I eat in a day, like, even if it's just like having, like, checking in on these videos to like have someone with you, in a sense, in a way, so like we could eat together, in a sense, you know, like, grab your meal, come sit with me, I'll eat my meal, you eat your meal, we'll all be merry and happy and hopefully healthy. And that's essentially what this is such a hard video for me to make, because I don't know if I'm talking out of my butt or not. And yeah, I guess I just, again, not a professional in any sense, I just want to do better and be a healthier self. And I noticed that I have been negatively impacted by someone struggling with an ed, and it's igniting certain thoughts and emotional patterns, and I don't want that to turn into something else. So I want to make something that's going to be holding myself accountable and really challenging myself in a way that I haven't challenged myself before, and challenging what my thoughts are and the distortions I have and the emotions that I feel. And I mean, I have been good too, like if I have watched Athena's stuff, like, I'm usually pretty good, like, after I watch it, I make sure that I eat something, and I do stuff like that. So, like, it's not behavioral. I have work and everything, so I have to actually do some heavy lifting and stuff like that, so again, it's not something that I can really act on, but I think some of the ideas are kind of there, and I want to make sure it doesn't become something. And I also write, if anybody cares to know, I also write a fanfiction, a Loki-centered Avengers fanfiction based around mental health and eating disorders, so if you want to read that, it is very triggering, though, I'm sure, because it has a lot of numbers and specifics and suicidality and depression and a lot of that stuff in it, but so yeah, I think that's everything I want to say in this video. Like, again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I won't share anything that's triggering, I hope. And if you are triggered by something, let me know in the comments, because I definitely don't know everything about eds and stuff like that, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to call this and what I'm going to do with it exactly, but I'm hoping that maybe it can inspire a few people out there to get a little bit healthier and give me some accountability and pave a path that I haven't walked before, and also just share some like happier stories of people in the recovery process from actual eds and how they're doing and things to that effect. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm just gonna end this video here, and yeah, hopefully I can edit this into some fashion to make it a little easier on the ears and the eyes and such. But for now, I'm gonna go because I have to go study some stuff. So, alright. Thank you for watching. I will definitely need, like, ideas for, like, snacks and things like that, and, like, healthier options of things, like, types of fruit, maybe, like, as far as, like, food goes, like, again, I eat a lot of junk food, to be honest, and I don't, like, exercise. And I don't, like, I'll eat cake and shit for breakfast. Who does that? But, like, so if you have, like, healthy options or, like, protein bars or, like, I tend to avoid, like, Ensure kind of stuff and, like, protein bars because, like, the healthier kind of ones, because they kind of make me have the poops, so I tend to avoid those things, which is a whole other topic, but, like, but if you have ideas or you have recipes or like smoothies and stuff like that, like definitely leave them in the comments, because we can support each other and help each other to get through it and move forward and really treat our bodies and our minds well. So yes, I'm gonna go, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you enjoyed the series, and I hope that it makes you think and we can get through it together. Alright, so as always, stay safe, take care, be well. I forgot my tag word. Much love and light to you, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
I can see a lighthouse through the smoke. Everything is lost, I know. Underneath the roaring of the storm, I can hear the breaking of the dawn.